What's going on, guys? We're going to talk about Cipher stock. It has been rallying lately, and I'm going to give you guys my thoughts. We'll look over its chart, we'll look over some recent news, and I'll tell you what I think of it. And we also have to get into some spot Bitcoin ETF news. We have been seeing net inflows lately, and there's an interesting trend that has been emerging from GBTC. We'll also look at Bitcoin on the chart. It's still at a crucial level. We need to maintain the 200 MA, reclaim that 65,000. Otherwise, I think we have a chance of testing 61,000. I'll show you why on the chart. Now, if you guys get something useful out of this, make sure you like, subscribe, ring the notification bell. Check out the links down below. And if you want to show your support, consider joining my membership for $2 a month. I do plan on adding some more exclusive membership perks and making it worth your while. Now, let's look at this spot Bitcoin ETF news. Bitfinex analyst says spot market buying slowing might be counteracted by Bitcoin spot ETF inflows. And this analyst believes that spot market buying has been slowing because the spot cumulative volume delta is flattening when the price reached 63,500. So they're basically saying despite spot Bitcoin buying slowing lately, the spot Bitcoin ETFs buying pressure may help things out, may keep Bitcoin afloat. And you'll see that lately things have been pretty decent for the spot Bitcoin ETFs. We have seen inflows in the last 4 readings here. Yesterday we did see an inflow of 136 million, and you'll notice that Grayscale, this is something huge that's been changing over time here. Grayscale selling has been diminishing. Remember when it was in the hundreds of millions? We're having no flow days. We even had an inflow day, but we're mostly getting these sub $50 million outflow days from GBTC, which is a huge positive in my opinion. And another positive is the outflow days, the few and far between outflow days from IBIT recently have pretty much been gone. Our last outflow day from IBIT was September 9. However, it has been seeing no flow days, a couple of inflow days. And as for the other funds in general, you do see mostly inflows. And I do think we'll see well over $20 billion in net inflows for the spot Bitcoin ETFs, maybe getting all the way to 25 billion by the end of this year. Q4 is typically a crazy year for Bitcoin. Maybe we see more than a $25 billion in net inflows, which will be roughly more than $7 billion from where we are here, being that the spot Bitcoin ETFs have seen so far a total of almost 18 billion in inflows since the launch in January. And we may turn out to have a good September. Remember, September on a halving year, more often than not, is actually good. And this time may be no different. Despite this saying that September is the worst month for Bitcoin, while that may be true in general, when you look at a halving year, it's actually typically a pretty good month for Bitcoin. And this September so far, we're up a little over 6%. Now I have to show you guys a couple of patterns that Bitcoin has been in. We have been in an uptrend ever since September 6th. You'll follow this line here. We need to maintain it. If we do break it, we are in for some lower levels. If this roughly 61.7, 61.5 doesn't hold, we might test 59. And we have an uptrend within an uptrend. This shorter term uptrend we've been in, keep an eye on this ascending support as well. If we break this, we are going to test our 61,000. Roughly 700 area. You can see the clear reaction from the market in this area. It was a resistance. On the break of it, you see a clear reaction. On the break down from it, you see a clear reaction. And you see it become a resistance again before we finally broke up from it. I also wanted to show you guys, we're still getting a bearish divergence. We might be due to cool down a bit before our next leg up. We have the RSI cooling down. You'll see that these points on the RSI are going down, lower highs, while the price is creating higher highs. But it looks like the bulls and bears are really tugging at it here because we also have a bullish divergence. You'll see that we are getting lower lows from the RSI here. However, we are getting higher lows from the chart. So we're getting RSI divergences from both directions. And that 65,000 is turning out to be a tough zone to break. We really need to claim that 65,000, break over and hold the 200 MA. Last time was very short-lived when we were above it, and then we just broke, saw a clear reaction, failed the 50, we just basically fell through the floor and created this second shoulder here all the way down to about 52,000 or so. This is crucial for Bitcoin to break over the 200 MA and this roughly $65,000 zone. Once we can do that, we are coming to test this descending resistance and then taking out these previous lower highs, going for that all-time high, that 74,000. I do think we're going to see it in Q4, but really right now it's a matter of Bitcoin breaking this roughly $65,000 area, reclaiming and holding the 200 MA. We might have to come down and test this ascending trend first, get a bounce right around this 61,007 area, before going on to finally take out that 200 MA, take out the 65,000, and we're not looking back from there. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think Q4 will see a good rally from Bitcoin? Do you think in Q4 we're going to see new all-time highs? Following past cycles, everything is lining up. Following global M2, everything is lining up. Just like last cycle, look at where we are here. September, October, we get that Q4 run. We break out of those previous highs. we rally, we take out the last cycle all-time high. For us, it's basically like more like this. This is our cycle all-time high, and I'll show you what I mean. We already took this previous all-time high out. We're ahead of schedule. We're doing better than any other cycle, in my opinion. So once we go on to break this descending resistance, it's only a matter of breaking the 74 and we go parabolic. We'll have a great Q4 if history repeats, which I think it will. Let me know what you think. Alright, now I want to talk about Cipher stock. It has been rallying lately. Don't get the FOMO bug unless you're setting a stop loss, unless you're simply riding the momentum. I do think this stock will do very good on the rest of the cycle, but I do think also we could see a major pullback. However, if you're not scared of the short term, I do think Cipher is a buy. It was profitable pre-halving. Not all of the Bitcoin miners were, and we have some bullish analyst price targets recently. Today we had Northland Securities initiate coverage on Cipher, giving it a $6 price target. We also have another one. Compass Point moved their price target from $7.50 to $9. And Needham and Company went from $5 to $7.50. One thing you'll notice is as these stocks run up, you will see these analysts suddenly jump in and give all these bullish price targets. You want to get in before that. Just like retail, these analysts tend to chase. When things are going up, suddenly they have all these bullish price targets. When things start going down, suddenly they start moving down their price targets drastically. So just be cautious with that. In the end, I think you just need to follow the cycle. A lot of analysts understand the cycle, a lot of them don't. But just realize that if Bitcoin does what it does every cycle, these Bitcoin miners will do fantastic. Something like Cipher will be well above $9 in my opinion, well above $7.50, well above $9, well above any of these price targets. And they will start rising these price targets. Same with all the Bitcoin miners. Now we also have news for Cipher that they announced the closing of their acquisition of Barber Lake 300 megawatt data center. And there are some positives and negatives, and I'll show you really quickly just so we can move along. So this is an expansion of their portfolio to now over 2.5 gigawatts across 10 sites. That's pretty massive. They're immediately available for HPC and Bitcoin mining operations. And this is funny. This is why AI has a lot of work to do. It's probably listening to me now, isn't it? So they put a negative and they put a positive for literally the same thing. Sale of Bitcoin inventory to fund the purchase, negative. Strategic use of appreciated Bitcoin treasury for asset acquisition. This is the same thing. They are using their Bitcoin to fund this purchase in the end. You can look at it and word it one way and it's a positive, or you could look at it and word it one way and it's a negative. Either way, it's the same thing. They are using their Bitcoin to fund their growth. My opinion on that is I'd rather see these companies hold their Bitcoin. I'd rather see them dilute personally at a time like this. But I'm also looking more long-term, not just looking like 2 months out. So there's that to think about. Now looking at Cipher, I do want to show you a trend that we were watching and then it broke and you saw a clear reaction and just nothing but red on the break of this trend. It's now back over this trend. I'd probably say it's invalidated though, but you might want to keep an eye on that kind of general level. We might react to it again. Right now it does look like it's finding resistance at the 50 MA. Perhaps we start cooling off from here. We also do have a gap down in the $3, $3.50. So keep an eye out. We might get a fill of the gap. That would be a great time, in my opinion, to add some Cipher if you're bullish on it. I don't hold any Cipher, but I do think it will do well this cycle. And like I said, they did have some profitable quarters. They actually had 2 profitable quarters. Very few Bitcoin miners achieved this. I believe CleanSpark was 1. BTBT, Iron might have been 2 others. Not 100% sure. My memory isn't perfect. But yeah, this is one that I do expect to regain profitability. Probably when they go over the 4th quarter. If Bitcoin has a good end of year, that could be a very good quarter for Cipher along with the other Bitcoin miners. Their upcoming earnings though is going to be the quarter ending September, so I wouldn't expect much out of this earnings. This was during a quarter where Bitcoin fell down. This was during a quarter when Bitcoin got as low as 49,000 back in August. And I do think that will somewhat negatively affect the Bitcoin miners in terms of earnings. However, the market already might be pricing this in, and when earnings comes out, the big thing will be forward guidance, which might be fantastic. And despite giving bad earnings numbers, if forward guidance is good, I do believe the market will rally. The market's forwards looking. We're already getting through this kind of rough quarter. I do believe Bitcoin is heading higher, and that will help their bottom line. That will help them get back to outpaced revenue growth, to sequential revenue growth, again, along with, of course, yearly revenue growth. Bottom line, is Cipher a buy here? I would say yes, but if you are the patient type, I would wait for a fill of the gap. If you are the extremely patient type, I would probably wait for a test of this lower trend line. We do gravitate to one and the other, and it will probably be like this for a while. We'll get to these extremes where we rip and go crazy and go to insane levels, and then we'll have times where we pull back, Bitcoin dips a little bit, the Bitcoin miners tank. There will be volatility. You will want to trim on the good days sometimes and sell puts, buy shares on the bad days. More into 2025, I'll definitely be on the sell side. And the back half of 2025, I don't plan on buying any Bitcoin miners at all. I'm pretty much just a seller. Might buy a few more Bitcoin miners throughout 2024. We'll see how crazy we get. But let me know your guys' strategy. How much more of the Bitcoin miners are you buying? Are you done for this cycle? There will be a point where these Bitcoin miners are at crazy valuations. Multiple billions, tens of billions even. Do they deserve that price? At some points, maybe they will, but at other points, they definitely won't. So just remember, when things are good, prepare that cash pile. As your stocks and cryptos run up, your percentage of cash will be less because your percentage in equities will grow in value. So try to keep that cash balanced. But let me know how you guys are preparing for the rest of the cycle. It's never too early to start talking about the end of the cycle. We will get there very soon, in my opinion. Before you know it, a year will pass by and we'll be like, oh shoot, the Bitcoin cycle is pretty much over. Time to do like the squirrels and accumulate over crypto winter. But thanks as always for watching, guys. I appreciate your support and I'll see you on the next one.